would like to call to order the meeting of the Sacramento Environmental Commission. At this time, we will take roll call. Go ahead, Jill, with that.
Laura Nickerson.
Here.
Stephanie Holstich.
Here.
Christine Casey.
Here.
Dr. Anthony DeRigi.
Here.
Richard Hunn.
Here.
Tom Mulson.
Here.
Eric Rivera Montez. Absent. Jacqueline Todak.
Here.
Mark White.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Next, we would like to introduce the commissioners, and we will go ahead and start at the right side of my table here with Christine. Go ahead, Christine.
Hello, I'm Christine Casey. I'm an appointee of the county and I work with the California State Assembly.
I'm Tony DeRigi. I'm a retired pediatrician from Casa Permanente. I'm the city rep.
Tom Molson. I represent the cities of Folsom, Mileton, and Galt, and I'm a retired aerojet engineer.
I'm Richard Hunt, appointed by Sacramento County, and I'm a retired environmental planner.
My name is Laura Nickerson. I was appointed by Sacramento County. I'm a retired registered nurse, and I also work with wildlife rehabilitation and rescue here in town.
I'm Stephanie Holstich. I'm a senior environmental scientist with the State Water Board, and I work on the Song Sea project.
I'm Mark White. I'm a county employee and formerly was a consultant in the garbage industry.
Jacqueline Todak. I'm an appointee from the city of Sacramento. I'm also an environmental planner and a project manager in the private sector at Jacobs Engineering. Predominantly work on water infrastructure projects, doing planning, permitting, a lot of SQL work, and some major programs, including Delta Conveyance and Sites Reservoir.
No, we've had a lot of presentations on all those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
We would like to welcome Jacqueline to the commission. This is her first night here, and we're very pleased to have her. So welcome officially from the commission. Next up, we would like to have open it to public comment. If there's any public out there that would like to make a statement, you have 3 minutes to comment. Is there any public that would like to comment?
I don't see anyone.
Next up, we have the Sacramento County Environmental Purchasing Policy, the EPP. Sarah Lee is the Contract Services Manager, and the Department of General Services of Contracts and Purchasing, and she will be our next presenter.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm Sarah Lee with the Sacramento County Department of General Services and the Contract and Purchasing Services Division. And with me tonight is Kelly Sequest from Waste Management and Recycling. Thanks, Kelly. So I'll be kind of taking the lead on the presentation, but Kelly's also here too to answer questions. And Kelly also worked with our department on our most recent update to the environmentally preferable purchasing policy, which was just updated in 2022. All right, so let me share my screen here. All right, is this showing up okay?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. So the county did have a longstanding environmental purchasing policy that was in place. We updated it most recently in 2022 to really go over the SB and include the SB 1383 requirements and to make some other improvements to the policy as well. So really the purpose of the policy is to support the purchase of recycled and environmentally preferable products, to also get our internal buyers within our own division, but also the delegated buyers that are out there in the county not coming through our department, really thinking about this stuff, really kind of going through the specifications that they're writing. How specific are they being? Are they limiting, maybe unintentionally limiting the products that our proposers and our bidders can propose to the county? Another part of this purchasing policy is an effort to reduce waste through our purchasing decisions. And then, of course, the SB 1383 compliance and the record keeping and reporting requirements that go along with that. So really a goal of the policy is to make thoughtful purchasing decisions, to protect and conserve our natural resources, to minimize the county's contribution to climate change, pollution, and solid waste disposal, and to provide guidance for those county departments. Like I said, whether or not they're coming through our department or whether or not they're purchasing independently through their own delegated authority. Get departments talking and thinking about these decisions and having kind of a policy for them to reference and guide them, and to guide those thoughtful decisions when we're putting out these solicitations for what the county is going to buy or what the county is going to decide not to buy, because those decisions just have a significant impact on our community. Other goals of the policy are, of course, are required regulatory requirements that we are abiding by 1383, by our purchasing decisions related to organic waste products, and recycled content paper and printing and writing paper. Also comply with the new directives that come from the Sacramento County Climate Emergency Resolution, and of course the County of Sacramento Climate Action Plan, which is also on tonight's agenda. Those things really go hand in hand. So within the policy itself, it's separated really into mandatory practices and then our preferred, and encouraged purchasing practices. So underneath mandatory practices, these really align with the SB 1383 requirements, right? The printing and writing papers or paper products purchases that those vendors are meeting the requirements, and then also submitting record keeping and reporting on the items that we're purchasing from them. Also with our recovered organic waste products, so our compost and mulch that we're using on any public projects, and then our landscape maintenance, our installation projects as well, making sure those contractors are buying the 1383 eligible compost and mulch, and then that they're also providing us the required reporting on what they bought, when they bought it, and where from. And then, like I said, we have a long list of preferred practices that we'd like to see our county purchasers think about and go through when they're making these decisions. So this is just a sample from the EPP policy where we call out a couple of different product categories, but it's certainly not all exclusive. Our departments are often the subject matter experts on the available products, and purchasing staff can assist in locating and available alternatives. We have, a lot of vendor outreach that goes both ways in and out of our department. And so we're keeping vendor lists. We're keeping contacts that we've had out in the community when we're doing, outreach events with the vendor community, and then editing specifications that come in from departments to make sure that we're not limiting the products that can be proposed. Sustainability considerations, again, when we're having conversations with our departments, when they're putting forth their solicitation documents and putting these things to us in draft form, talking through some of these items, are we considering or are we requiring any third-party certifications? Are we thinking about life cycle costs and impacts? Are we thinking about, what it takes to really buy what we're trying to buy? And then, of course, we're purchasing. So fiscal considerations. We've got to be thinking all the time about, what's the best value for the county? Is it the bottom price today, or is it that life cycle analysis that we can put together to really think about, are there opportunities for leveraging contracts countywide versus department specific? Are there the ways to approach contracting and purchasing that perhaps we hadn't done the previous time this was solicited? So having those conversations, thinking about that, and also doing market research to see, what the costs of similar products are out there and what other jurisdictions are doing within our professional public purchasing community. The policy is also split up into, which departments are responsible for which activities. So underneath county departments, obviously, they're responsible for a lot of their own practices and purchasing decisions, and the programming and the products that they purchase. And these are all a little, more further refined within the policy itself, but at the high level, just reminding departments to think about specification development, reminding them to think about alternative products that may be available. educating and promoting this policy through their staff. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of delegated purchasing that happens outside of our department. So we certainly include this training on this policy in the trainings that we conduct, but I know a lot of training is going on outside of our department as well. And then of course, submitting new ideas to our department. If a department isn't, finding what they want or looking for within the environmental purchasing policy, we're certainly open and hoping that they're bringing those ideas to us and having that conversation. And I don't know, Kelly, did you want to state anything more on that? No. Thanks. And then specific to the Department of General Services, so our department, maintains vendor lists, maintains product lists. We provide, of course, information to our departments that are going through solicitations to include all of those contacts and outreach that we can. Also informing vendors of the county's EPP policy and including any of those required contract clauses and sample reports. And as much thorough information as we can with solicitations before they go out. And again, working with the departments that are purchasing through us to develop those specifications and eliminate barriers to these products. And leaving the door open for proposals to come in that offer alternative projects or products when that's appropriate. Inclusion of eco labels or third-party certifications, also utilizing the existing state contracts that were procured through the Buying Green program that are available for county use. And then revising this EPP policy as needed. And again, that's something that DGS and Waste Management work on a regular basis. Record keeping is done through for SB 1383 through this email address that's provided in our solicitations and then in our contract awards so that our paper and mulch and compost vendors can submit their reporting. And then this reporting is passed on to Waste Management and passed on to Cal Recycle for the county to meet our annual recovered organic waste products target. Kelly, Waste Management meets regularly with Cal Recycle on this topic, and we have regularly scheduled reminders and outreach to our vendor community as well. Like I said a little bit earlier, this really is a partnership between DGS and Waste Management to work on ongoing improvements to our environmental preferable purchasing policy, updating and improving as things move along. So our current revisions include AB 661 requirements, just kind of edit and refine some of the language that's within that policy so that it lines up with that. And how this policy is communicated to our county staff, like I said, all of our county purchasers that are in purchasing roles will go through purchasing 101 training, and this policy will be part of that training. We also have ongoing events with that county purchasers attend, contract officers form in the annual user group, and this is a frequent topic that comes up, especially reporting and the requirements that go along with that once a contract is actually in place. The EPP policy is included in all of our standard solicitation templates in OpenGov, which is the county's e-procurement software. And mulch and compost clause and sample report are also included in any public projects that are bid through OpenGov. And then finally, our EPP policy is posted on the internet for our internal users and on the internet for our vendor community and public. And of course, we're always happy and eager to talk about it at any other training opportunities that come up at the county. And that's all I had for me, but I'm certainly happy to take questions now, or Kelly and my email and phone information is here if anyone wants to follow up after. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Do the commissioners have any questions for Sarah at this time?
Sure. Hi, Sarah. Thanks for the presentation. Back on the paper products, it said 30% content for writing paper. Is there criteria for the other paper towels, toilet paper, et cetera?
Yeah, so all of our paper products would be set to meet that requirement within the policy. I think there is it doesn't come up but often, but I think if it did come up where the pricing on something was so extravagantly different from what you would pay for to meet that requirement, that there's, opportunity within the code to perhaps make a different decision. But yes, that 30% requirement goes across to all of the paper products, janitorial supplies, everything that we purchase.
Oh, and is there any policy regarding single-use disposable water bottles?
There is not. The single-use bottles and single-use plastic products in general are discussed within the policy, but it would be under that preferable umbrella, not the mandatory.
Thank you.
Yes, Richard?
Yeah, I don't know, I don't recall specifically if you mentioned this, but do you also address minimizing packaging for purchases for the county, like plastic waste and other non-disposable materials?
Yes, we do discuss that in the policy. Again, it's under that preferable umbrella, but we talk about packaging, we talk about delivery, again, kind of trying to think about the total cost of what it takes to buy what you're buying, or the services that are being provided. What's the full package? So it is discussed. It's just in the preferable and not mandatory bucket.
What qualifies something to move from preferable to mandatory?
Well, the way that it is written now, the mandatory pieces really are those pieces that are mandatory under our SB 1383 and state law. The decision to make something mandatory at the county level, we would need that support and direction from leadership.
Any other questions?
I have a couple
Mark?
more. Kelly, for you, what are you folks paying for compost now?
With respect to processing our organics from our curbside program?
No, with respect to using them in projects like highway projects, maintenance projects?
Oh, sure. Yes. So we have 3 organics processors that we currently contract with that. And within each of those contracts, there are buyback provisions. And so any of the projects that our department works on, we pay about $25 per ton delivered. For example, like our compost giveaway program that we're utilizing right now to give back to our community and back to our residents. We buy the compost back from our processors using those contracts.
Thank you. How do you guys check the life cycle cost of things when you're comparing whether to purchase them or not?
We're looking at things like maintenance and repair, or if something that's something with a short lifespan that we're going to be replacing regularly versus something with a longer lifespan that we can factor in maintenance costs and things like that. And also just the cost of going out for another solicitation in a short period of time, right? Some of that is a cost as well. And then again, looking at what some of our other jurisdictions are doing and solicitations that have gone out and what pricing has come back on those solicitations. There's some, of course, some guessing and wiggle room in there, but again, I think just even sometimes having the conversation about what a total life cost is with a department can, get people thinking about what they're buying, how frequently they'll buy it, and what truly is the best value.
Okay, thank you. Couple other questions. You mentioned some barriers to purchasing. What barriers exist to purchasing AP products?
Sure. Well, I think, anytime you put anything in your specification that bars a certain product from being proposed or bid, unless there's a good reason to do that, we would typically be encouraging our departments not to do that, to leave, to make your specification such that you are getting what you want, but also that if there is an alternate that could be proposed that perhaps was more environmentally preferable, that you haven't closed the door on that. You haven't said that something is not allowable or is barred from being proposed, that you're kind of leaving those options open and then evaluating them, evaluating what comes through. Again, you know, when we're talking about some solicitations, that's appropriate. Other solicitations, you know, you truly are getting very specific with your specs such that you need, you know, the widget that is this size and this model, you know, things like that. But when we're talking about a lot of other purchases, we don't want to narrow the field so much that environmentally preferable products or services aren't accepted as a responsive proposal.
Couple other quick questions. Do you guys provide your list of EPP products to those outside of government, like a company that may be really interested in doing this, but doesn't want to go to all the trouble to establish its list?
You know, that hasn't, I guess, it hasn't come up yet. But the request hasn't been made from, at least that I know of recently. But I think it's something that we certainly could do and have, you know, a more public facing side too.
Last question for Kelly. Hey, Kelly, how do the programs in Sac County compare to the other counties in this state? I assume you guys are part of some sort of an organization that meets and talks about this at Cal Recycle.
Are you speaking specifically to the compost and mulch procurement provision?
No, more to the entire generalized EPP program.
Oh, yes. So essentially what we did do is Cal Recycle does have a model procurement policy. And what we did do, which most other jurisdictions did as well, is we essentially incorporated most of those provisions into this most recent EPP update. So that's kind of how essentially we've coordinated with the other jurisdictions and with Cal Recycle, is just by utilizing their model procurement policy and incorporating those provisions and requirements into our policy, so that we're consistent with the requirements of at least 1383 from that perspective.
You go beyond those minimum requirements that Cal Recycle's established in their reg?
To be honest, I'm more specifically focused on the recovered organic waste product piece of it and the recycled content paper. Those are two attachments that are a part of the EPP that are very specific to the requirements. Above and beyond that, I'm not familiar with what other jurisdictions have incorporated into their policy.
Thank you. By the way, it's nice to see you even in a thumbnail again.
Yes, you as well.
I have a question. This is Laura. So this applies to all Sacramento County government agencies. Is that correct?
It would apply to all county departments, whether or not all Sacramento County agencies. I'll have to get back to you on that. I'm not sure about independent districts or I'll have to respond to that after the meeting.
Okay. And then
I know, Laura, I'm sorry, Laura, just to answer that with respect to the 1383, the procurement requirements for compost and mulch, it does not apply to special districts.
Okay.
Yeah.
When does this all go into effect?
This policy already is in effect. Yep.
When did it go into effect?
Our most recent update was in 2022. Like I said, there was a policy that was in place prior to that. It was just in need of updating for 1383 and other items as well.
I see. And then how is compliance tracked?
So for our 1383 compliance, we do have the generic SB 1383 reports email. That email is checked monthly. Those reports are then forwarded. So, you know, I'm the record keeper for your CAPSD. Those reports are then forwarded to Waste Management, their record keeper, who's handling the master, I guess, reporting tool to then turn over to Cal Recycle. So how we're tying that into actually getting our vendors to submit their reports is on the paper products, writing and printing paper side. we're tying submission of those reports into any contract renewals. So if, reports aren't being submitted, that's kind of an opportune time to have that discussion and follow up with the vendor and require that those reports be submitted before we enter into a new term of the agreement. On the compost and mulch side, we are tying it into field acceptance of public projects. So when that field acceptance process is being gone through to see where everything's at on the project, submission of these reports is part of that analysis.
Okay, thank you. Do the commissioners have any other questions?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
Oh, go ahead, Tom.
go ahead, Tom.
I was gonna ask something similar to what you mentioned. This, my name is Tom Olson, and looks like you got a pretty good updated environmental purchasing policy. However, my question concerns metrics and compliance. How do you measure it? I mean, I've heard, okay, you get reports in. What do you do with the reports? Count how many reports you got and file them away? Or, I mean, is there any, if Joe Blow Public wanted to see a data or a graph of how well you're complying, where would they go? I think that piece is missing.
Kelly, did you want to speak to how reporting is passed on to CalRecycle? Is that in a data or graph format?
We report to CalRecycle as part of, on behalf of the county, the jurisdiction through our electronic annual report. There are the recycled paper products. So again, back to just those very specific 1383 requirements. We do report that to CalRecycle on an annual basis as part of our electronic annual report section, the submittal to the state. But for all of the other purchases, to answer your question, that's not a requirement, essentially, that we report to the state. We're just more focused on the compost mulch and the recycled paper products.
So as a person purchasing policy, then you don't know how well you comply. You don't know if you're doing better this year than last year. You don't measure, you don't.
Yep. Yes, I'd agree that we don't have some of that data that could kind of give us good points in time of, yes, where we were on the same purchasing decision last time and what we're doing now that's making it different. And I'd love us to get there.
I mean, the people that are writing the purchase orders and doing the purchasing, it's up to them to comply with the environmental policy as best they can. But if they don't, there's no downside to it either, as I see it, because you don't really know if you're getting better at it or more compliant or what. You just don't know at this point. So my suggestion is, down the road, I mean, you got CalRecycle for the the biodegradables and stuff, but the rest of it, you really don't know. You're not measuring it.
Anybody else? Richard?
Sarah, from what I understand, SB 1383 primarily focuses on food waste and organic waste management collection. So anything else beyond that does that be considered a preference and not a mandatory requirement in your contract language?
Well, the recycling content piece of it is a requirement, and then the SB 1383 eligible compost and mulch is also a requirement. So that these products are being kept out of the landfill and are being reused on our public projects or on our maintenance.
So any other product such as plastic water bottles, like mentioned by Dr. Dirigi, would not be covered under this and would have to be done through specific direction from the board supervisors to you to include that?
Correct. I mean, what's mandatory right now is what's mandatory under the state 1383 direction. That would come from some of the other authorities that we mentioned: Climate Action Plan, climate emergency resolution. I think that those could be put into action through edits to the policy as well.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
Sarah, one more thought. Do we know how we compare with other counties? Do we have copies of their EPP policies?
Yes. I have calls with Alameda County on a somewhat regular basis to go through. They have kind of a local jurisdictions call that informal call that happens, to talk through some of these changes and to talk through some of the stuff and the projects surrounding meeting our organic waste procurement targets. And so I do see other policies. I don't have a library of them, but I do have quite a few that I reference and go through. So I think, us even having a policy is an improvement to other jurisdictions. But as some of the commission has brought up, some of the delegated purchasing that happens and some of the measurements that we don't have and I'm not able to present to you today are definitely an area of improvement.
A couple more questions. Would either of you suggest or have any idea that maybe the materials purchased through the 1383 program are the vast majority of the EPP purchases? Say by ton. It's a stupid question, but
What was your question?
how big
I would
is
offer, I think the answer would be yes, Mark, because with respect to compost, an example would be, we have a project out at Kiefer landfill right now where we're utilizing that product. And it's going to equate to, I think, about 1,300 tons. Just one single product or project. So to answer your question, I would offer that, yes, I would foresee that on a per ton or a weight basis, it could probably be the compost, but I think that because of the decentralized function of the county, that's the challenge of really knowing kind of how the other departments are doing with respect to recycled paper product purchases. But I would offer that I think we're probably doing a really good job in the paper product as well. I don't know how much countywide at this point, but those are probably the biggest commodities.
Well, I'm just trying to make the point that if they're catching the compost and they're probably catching a lot of the paper in total tons, they got most of the product, most of the EPP program. And then my next question for Kelly is that if I wanted to know, let's say, how Alameda County's doing, can I just look at their annual report and look in there and see what their EPP says and what the results are?
That's a great question. I have not actually tried to do a search on CalRecycle's database to see whether or not they've posted other jurisdictions' annual reports and the data that accompanies them. So I don't know the answer to that.
Well, that would just be for the organics.
Unless they reported out other stuff too.
What's necessary to do?
Well, Sarah and Kelly, you're going to speak next. Is that correct?
Oh, no, I was here with Sarah just to answer any questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to thank both of you for being patient with all of our questions. This is a subject matter that is very important to us, and you guys are both doing very, very important work. So I want to thank you both for giving us an update on what you're doing, and keep up the good work.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
I have one follow-on question.
No, we're not done yet. We're on to the next.
Just one. You alluded to all the other departments doing their own purchasing. So the county doesn't have a central purchasing department?
We do, just a lot of authority is delegated and doesn't need to come through our department. So some of that is delegated through Sacramento County Code, and some of it's delegated through the delegated purchasing program for smaller dollar purchases.
It would make measuring the compliance very difficult. Nearly impossible.
They're not going to tell you.
Okay, Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.
It seems like there's a gap between what's required and versus what's preferred. And there's a lot of leniency in what's the preferred color. And it seems that maybe we could provide some advice to the county as regarding maybe to tighten that up. And
Like you're talking about the plastic water
plastic
bottles?
in particular, plastic packaging, plastic bottles, plastic everything, to be able to put it into the required color.
Yes.
I would go so far as to say the county probably uses a tremendous amount of paper and printer cartridges too. I mean,
That's
the
all.
government lives on paper.
Printer cartridges were, but I didn't see single-use plastic.
No.
And so I looked at the Palm Springs one because they updated theirs 2023 and theirs bans polystyrene, plastic straws.
They ban,
straws.
so they require.
So that's not an EPP program though. It's just
That's
straight
in
up
their, it's in their purchasing policy, but they also have a plastic ordinance, which we don't have. So I think that makes it easier for them to put it under
And
there.
it's also Palm Springs.
Well, maybe some of us can put together some thoughts on how we would want to approach this. And
Yeah, I was gonna make can the chair make a motion? I think I can. I would like to mention that something be put together about that can be submitted to the county by the commission in support of that. I agree.
I second that.
Okay, second.
But I have an argument. They
You have
ain't
an
gonna do
argument?
nothing they don't have to do. And the regs call for what they have to do, and that's what they're gonna do.
And we can send them a letter.
We could at least have maybe recommend they put it in their, what's the not mandatory one, the recommended.
Preferred. Well, you should say the city of Palm Springs has a outright ban on polystyrene and things like
I
that.
would
So
definitely
they
cite-
wouldn't be on the.
Oh, sure,
Yeah.
and I imagine Berkeley does.
Yeah, I would definitely cite other cities.
I wouldn't be
that do
surprised
that.
Alameda, city of. Anyway, several of these cities are on the leading edge. Palm Springs, give a rip what the county thinks. Or anybody else for that matter. But I mean, I think if you guys want to do a letter, it's certainly reasonable to do that. I wouldn't hope for any positive
Well,
response,
yeah, I
but
mean-
it's worth doing a letter for.
So should we take a roll call to see if the committee would like to, commission would like to proceed with that?
Yes, would you refine the motion for me? Was it to a letter recommending banning plastics in the purchasing policy?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or other
Well, maybe
suggestions.
we don't need to be so specific right now. Should we just
Yeah.
evaluate it a little more, try to find out some more detail, and then we might have recommendations to go to 50% consumer waste in the paper and things like that. I mean,
Right.
So
So
what-
Palm
Why do we
Springs
have to
even had like
reinvent it if
landscaping.
other jurisdictions have already done something similar? That's my point. We don't have to reinvent it.
You know, we've got
So
people out there.
research best practices.
Well, why don't we at least survey what other entities are doing and pick out the best ones that
Best
we like.
practices.
Yeah, I was gonna make a motion that we have one of the commissioners volunteer, one or two of the commissioners volunteer to research this and bring forth a proposal.
are we
So-
creating a committee?
That's what I'm thinking, one or two or three or whatever.
By researching, do you mean looking at other jurisdictions in the state?
Yes,
see
and the
what they're doing?
laws and,
That's looking at the laws is a really big step, looking at what the jurisdictions, because you can kind of guess who's, like I said, Berkeley's out there. San Jose's out there. But those are all county.
You're not pouring enough cold water on this, Mark.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe.
That's okay. I've
But that's
wasted a lot
kind
of
of what
time
our
in my life.
function is, which is gonna be the next agenda item. We're doing our function. So who would like to be involved in that?
Yeah.
Okay, we have Richard and we have Tony and we have Stephanie that would like to work on.
And I'll make a motion to the committee.
I don't need a motion on this, just for people to volunteer to bring
Okay.
back information.
So are we gonna draft a letter or just?
Well, let's do the research first and see where we want to go.
I would like to have a letter. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
It'll
ultimately,
be the end product.
yeah, I mean, ultimately to have at least the first draft come to the next meeting if possible.
Yeah.
Like I said.
Agree. That's what I would like. You guys have 1 month. All right, very good, very good. The next up, I asked Jill, were you able to put those up?
I am, and
I
it's,
asked Jill to pull up our Sacramento Environmental Commission mission statement, vision. Personally, I haven't looked at this in years, and I thought it would be a good idea to kind of review who we are, what we're about, and where we want to go, and see if there's anything coming up down in 2024 that we would like to focus on. Are we doing what our mission is? And in reviewing it, did you all have a chance to review it?
Yeah.
Yeah. In reviewing it, I felt like we were on target with our mission and our vision. Does anybody have any discussion on that?
I have a question.
Mhm.
When was it revised? Do we know, Joe?
Revised 10/6,
It's-
2015 here down at the bottom.
No, I just didn't read the whole page.
Yeah, yeah.
2015, that's a while ago.
Yeah.
I found it to be fairly current.
I did too. I thought it was good. And I thought like the mission here, providing leadership, assistance, analysis, and advice on environmental matters to the Sacramento County Board, Sacramento County agencies, cities. I mean, that's what really we just did just now is we in discussing and talking and questioning those very lovely ladies. It just keeps them on point, right? I mean, it just keeps them thinking and
I think I can give you a little insight into why it was revised in 2013.
why is that?
That's because another cities are in the commission.
Oh, okay.
Don't grow.
Mhm.
And there's two cities in the county that we don't deal with.
Still.
Citrus Heights and Rancho Cordova.
Right,
Rancho's pretty progressive too.
I know, yeah,
right.
yeah. And I know we've done it in the past. It's been a while. But we've done it in the past where we've reached out to those cities and said, you wanna join our group. Represent them. And I think we've done it a couple times.
What is the cost of it to the city
Several thousand.
to have a commissioner
you
representation?
you pay per chair. So it's divided up, the total cost for the year, say it's $20,000. Then you divide per chair. And if the city has 3, or per seat, if the city has 3 seats, that's their portion.
I see.
You know, maybe in Rancho's case, it's because we haven't asked the right person.
All right.
We sent it to the city manager. He said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do any more than I have to. I know the public works director and may see him next week. So I'm just asking.
Well, the council set policy. And the city manager does what implements the policy. That's the way it works. So if you have the right council, let's just do like this. Our policy is to be a member of the environmental commission, and then tell the city manager and what will happen.
City manager, let's it be reported to the council, yeah.
Well, I was impressed that this commission has been going for since 1988. So I'm impressed with that. And then in looking down at the vision, I was looking to make sure that we are getting speakers and issues on all of these subjects. And, you know, water pollution, yes. Air pollution, yes. Land management and productivity, yes. Natural resources are managed, yes. Renewable energy, yes. People, plants, and animals thriving, yes. Neighborhoods are clean and healthy, sort of. Food is safe, and then the transportation, residents can walk. So most of these we really have hit even within the last year, I think, pretty well to keep us educated, to be educated advisors, which is what we need to do. So my question for the commissioners is, do we need to add additional education to us to make us better commissioners that we haven't already had in looking at our mission and our goals? And how can we further impact more of our county and more of the public? How can we further impact that going forward?
I think that since this was written, there's been other topics that have come up and are on everybody's mind, specifically climate change. Sustainability is another one. Maybe even new issues like leachates from plastics that enter the environment, biohazards, I guess.
Plastic pollution.
But we didn't really envision packaging. We could add some of those to the new categories.
Yeah.
Like environmental.
Mentioned water pollution. You can't pollute the water, they haven't done it.
Yeah, we've had talks on groundwater for sure.
We should have the words groundwater in there somewhere.
It's a big, yeah, in the last 2 or 3 years, they finally wised up and started creating groundwater authorities.
What is in the first? Surface and.
Yeah. Just in the last 3 years, they created groundwater authorities in the state.
I think it's pretty remarkable for having predicted what's happening in 10 years. That we did this in 2015. The only thing we're arguing about is groundwater. And plastics.
And climate change.
Because plastic and climate change are really
Yeah.
two new guys on the
Right,
block.
because we've spent a lot of time looking at climate, you know,
I don't see
plans,
noise
action
pollution.
plans.
I don't
The
see
last
noise
year or
pollution.
two. The what? Oh, no. Yeah.
And the only reason I mention that is because railroad, with the population encroaching on rail crossings, they're a big deal in big quiet zones.
I find that Highway 50 encroaching on my house is a big deal too.
Noise, it's just noise.
But we could add noise to the pollution prevention category
Yeah.
because we include light and hazardous materials.
Yeah.
We could do
There
that.
has been some new medical.
Well, it sounds like we need to add a little bit of updates to this. Is there a commissioner that would like to volunteer to work over this document and submit the edits at the next meeting? Anybody hot to trot to do that? Anybody?
Does that have to be limited to one, or should it be anything
No.
that we iterate on?
Maybe a couple
Ads
people?
And Jill.
So can I propose that everyone can just send me, not the group, just send them to Jill? And under
Or put
which,
edits on
Yeah.
to ourselves by ourselves? Or-
yep, and then under which categories?
Oh, okay.
Reading my mind, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then I can bring the document next meeting and the additions or deletions will be in red.
Well, sometimes nobody doesn't do it. Nobody does anything because they think somebody else is gonna do it. So I want us all to really think about at least putting 1 or 2 things in here and sending it to Jill so that it's a group project. Because group projects can become nothings.
But we've also said that this is still very relevant, so I feel like it doesn't really need.
It doesn't need a
We can
lot.
Always add
Yeah.
things forever and ever, but
Yeah, I don't think it needs a lot either. I think this could be done very quickly.
Yeah, sadly, none of the problems haven't gone away since.
Yeah, delete some of those things.
That's okay, that's okay.
And just remember, we send it one way to Jill.
Yeah, no, not reply all.
Well,
do we have an editable version of this?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, and then, does anybody have any particular goals or things that they would like the commission to focus on this year? Or are we just all going along in the right track as far as you see?
It's not in here, but Jill sent out the topics, I think, so if anyone.
Yeah, I saw the topics, they were good. There was 1 or 2 holes, I feel that needed stuff, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, regarding topics, Jill, I know sometimes it's hard to pin down a speaker for a certain date or. Do you keep, how far in advance, remind us, how far in advance do you? try
Right
to-
now I'm 2 months out. I haven't invited March yet. So I've got February confirmed.
One thing that's kind of bothered me for a really long time is all these really cool developments that Secaucus is doing in Folsom. And we don't hear much about where the water's coming from. I don't know what we can say or do as a topic about that.
I know where you're coming from. When I was on the planning commission, 1986, 87, I was saying, start looking at groundwater. How long has it taken before they started putting groundwater commission agencies together? Groundwater's been dropping in lower Sacramento County, one linear foot a year.
Well, not until it's required, right? People won't do it unless they're required
Kicking
to.
it down
If
the-
Sigma was enacted, then everyone starts to comply.
Kicking the can down the road to drinking salt water.
I think that when a city adopts a subdivision or a general plan, the servicing agencies have to make a commitment that they're gonna serve.
Yes.
And so the city's already made a deal with the water supply.
So presumably it's taken care of.
It could be paper water, but
Yeah, they all have an environmental review document attached to it.
Yeah, so I should.
And all boilerplate, and it doesn't affect us.
Don't break
Another
them.
land use issue, I don't know if we've talked about it in a while, is the South County Habitat Plan and the Southeast Connector.
Oh.
Have we talked about that in a while?
Which one is it now? What one is it?
Okay, what?
is that the Grant Line Road?
Yeah, the Southeast Connector, Oak Grove to Folsom.
Oh, where they want to turn Pratt Line Road into a highway.
Yeah.
Bypass.
Conflicts with the county's habitat protection for South County.
We had them in here a couple years ago.
Yeah, we have.
But nothing's happened as far as I can tell.
No, they've improved a little bit on Prairie City. And they put 4 lanes in out there. And that's the intent, is eventually carry it all the way through. But to acquire the land and everything like that, there's no money. So my guess is maybe your grandkids may see it.
Do we have a transportation talk for next year? Do we remember?
Or I was just thinking also the Truxell Road, the bridge at Truxell Road.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What
They're
bridge?
proposing a new bridge over the American River at Truxell Road. So it would take out about 5 acres of habitat at Discovery Park.
Between Discovery Park and,
Yeah.
the 1260th
Yeah.
Street.
That whole
Is it a
area.
Oh, okay.
pedestrian bridge?
No, it's a road bridge.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
a-
And maybe even light rail.
So what's the
Light rail
mitigation?
Yeah,
gets
it's a
crossed
multi.
over.
Over the west side?
Oh,
That's good.
My question would be, what's the
It'll take
mitigation?
you like, no.
Yeah, but they're not even
Oh, I
that
see.
far. I think they recently awarded a design, a conceptual design. I'm not
Isn't there a
sure.
whole bunch of
Because
houses?
typically they have.
No, it's not really. So it's basically off Garden Highway. So it'd be between Garden Highway and
Oh,
whatever that north A, or I don't know.
They had a public meeting on the 10th
Yeah.
to address the alternatives,
Mhm.
and they selected the Truxell as the preferred,
Yeah.
but they have not completed it.
Exact alignment. No, they haven't. I think they released the NOP recently.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're in the point of discussing, finalizing the alternatives for design.
that's quite a ways along.
All right, so at this point, we will all submit so many additional edits we want on our mission and vision statement to review the edits at the next meeting. And how much interest is there in the commission to reach out again to Rancho Cordova and Citrus Heights? Are we interested in doing that?
If I can find my guy at work on Friday the 4th, I'll ask him.
Jill, what do you think the odds are of that? I mean, you've been here for a very long time.
I'll email.
Huh?
I'll email them.
Okay.
I think we
Give me a
reached
few
out
days.
just 2 years ago.
No,
I think it's already been a year ago.
Yeah, it hasn't been that long ago.
It was last year, I think. I kind of recall that, right? I kind of recall us doing something, but I can't remember what it was.
And they, Rancho responded, they gave me a call.
Oh,
We
okay.
had a conference call, the
He said
the
thanks.
planning and
What was their reaction?
they were particularly interested in value added. What value
What do
added?
they get? Yeah, what do they get by putting somebody in paying, financially supporting
Mhm.
somebody? Exactly.
So what do they get?
Right, so that's an important thing that we
Mhm.
need to think about. What do they get, right?
They're part of the county, they're responsible for just participating in the county and giving everybody their ideas with respect to environmental issues, which are huge in Rancho.
Well, I think, yes, and I think that having a representative on the commission, this is my thought about this, that the city council, city planners, whoever can come to the commission and propose something to get support from objective public. We're not politicians, support and or information as whether this is a good idea or what kind of questions to field. It's like a safe pass through for something. And we could support stuff going to the county, for instance, that they might want, things like that. I think they have to look at it as like an advisory board to assist them in reaching environmental goals. And they'll have a representative that can bring forth to the commission also any particular city issues that they're having. I mean, that's really the only thing they could get out of it.
I think we need to
Right?
put in that in writing and offer that to them.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
You know, what I didn't look up, I got a map sitting down, but I didn't look up is what is the sphere of influence for Rancho? If their sphere includes Aerojet property or Mather, both have got big environmental
Yes, they
issues.
do.
They ought to be a member.
Mhm.
You know, in our founding legislation, didn't we have, I know we had statements of why people should do this. Why cities should join this. We should probably extract some of that language. And
Jill, I can help you write something if you give me some kind of skeleton
Sure.
thing. I will try to help sell ourselves. That's really what this is. We're selling the commission as to why this is an important body for counties and cities to be a part of. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, because I know Folsom and Rancho are probably fighting over the Aerojet property, who's making how much. And I'm the representative for Folsom.
yeah. All right, well, we'll go ahead and revisit that. That may take a few months down the line, but I think that's something to revisit. All right, then.
On the topics before we move
Sure.
on, I just noticed an error, Jill. So the award ceremony we thought should be at the September meeting, and
So October is televised.
oh right. So
That's-
can we move the health of the county to September? So our thoughts were, instead of having a separate topic at the award ceremony, just having the award ceremony, and then maybe the winners of the awards could like give a short presentation and that would be the whole meeting that month.
Sure, I can do that.
I think that it's important also to have Dr. Kassiri give her overview
On the televised,
on the televised.
She's usually very short.
that is why we've
And
done
Every
October
single time
dual.
she's done it, it's been like very short. It's only if a commissioner starts asking lots of questions that it goes really long. So I don't know what you think.
I think it might be boring for people that are just attending the awards to. I don't know.
Oh, Stephanie, it's at the end. If I could
Awards.
interrupt, I'm sorry.
Right.
Her presentation is always after. And
And they
they
leave.
leave, they leave, so.
Right, so do you think we'll have time for people to present that one awards and then have that? This might-
I think you might find that some don't want to. They want to say thank you. I don't know that they want to present.
But maybe we can allow them 5
You can
minutes.
certainly invite them to.
You want to think about it a little bit more?
Yeah, we have
Well,
some time.
we've had Dr. Cyrier speak to us at the televised
October.
meeting ever since West Nile virus started.
Yeah.
And that's what brought her in, and she
Yeah,
conveyed that message. I don't think we should lose that opportunity.
yeah, I'm kind of feeling that way too. She's always been at the October meeting. At the Board of Board of Chambers.
I liked her presentation so much, I kind of wanted her to have her own thing, but
Yeah.
not realizing that it was because of the televised.
It's kind of a tradition and too, yeah, she plans it,
She has a lot of good
it's on the
stuff.
television.
I could ask her questions for hours, but Laura hurries us along so we can get on to the next thing.
So, all right, well, is that still undecided then, the topics committee? Think about it?
On the mission and history, because, we work very closely with EMD, but I don't think we have as close relationships with who we've been appointed by. And I think it's valuable to not only from our own perspective, we've already selected the topics for this year, but it would be valuable to hear from, the county board of supervisors, like what are their priorities, what are they hearing? Environmental issues are top of their mind, and hear from city council members and hear from the Folsom, Alton and Gulf folks as well. So I don't know if there's a way to, not with having a quorum, because there's like 3 county representatives, maybe have like a meeting of our county commissioners and reach out to the board of supervisors and have some.
A couple of years ago, individually went to the city councilman and the county board of supervisors by the respective people who represent them.
And I've done that, like, I had some meetings, but I'm like, should we be doing this as like more formalized, more official, just to develop that relationship? Like I said, we have a relationship with the department, but trying to, just because it is in our mission that we serve as an advisory body for the department, but our mission is to provide leadership assistance for the elected officials as well, so.
Yeah, maybe if we try to get together with their chief of staff rather than the supervisor.
If you just ask for 15 minutes, like,
Yeah.
they'll give you time and more than that, so.
I know the city of Galt has a number of commissions. And typically they require or ask for an annual report with the commission.
They could present it as that. This is what we've done in the last year as your appointed
Correct.
environmental commissioners. We've
Correct.
convened and met on these topics and want to hear about.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as just topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good idea to make it as like a retrospective.
Have a little annual report, put out to everybody.
We had one that we had a format for it. Yeah. But it wasn't easy.
It was very long.
It was.
Very long.
Maybe it was.
Oh, no, you need like.
It was
a-
impressive. It was
Yeah.
impressive.
It
It looked like a lot of work.
10 pages long.
They're gonna read this, they're not gonna read 3 or 4 pages.
One page and a chart or a picture.
I mean, they got a lot of work to do, so you gotta respect the fact that,
Absolutely.
So let me be clear on what the proposal is, Christine. You would like to invite a county board of supervisor person here?
No, not for our official meeting, just like outreach. So who are my county people?
I'm Sac County.
County, and we would say, hey, supervisor so-and-so, do you have 15 minutes for the Sacramento environmental commissioners that the county has appointed to meet with you to.
Oh,
update
we
you?
go to their office.
Yeah, or Zoom,
Uh-huh.
just a quick, just to like have that connection, like, come on, we're here, we're in service of you. Because they may not even remember, likely don't remember that they selected us to be appointed in their employee committee panel one day and forgot about us.
if we could even get in there for a minute with a board member and say, we're here, we'd love to look at issues that you have. Can we talk to your chief of staff about what those
Yeah.
issues might be now?
Yeah, staff is the best way
That's-
to
and then
actually.
leave
get
Jill's
some-
phone number.
Or Jill. Okay, I think it's a great idea. I'm not quite sure how to put it together, but I think it's a,
Just remember,
great
the chief
idea.
of staff has absolutely no control. He doesn't set policy.
Oh, no, he does what the boss says.
No, but they advise, I mean,
Yeah,
I
they advise.
staff,
They-
members and.
They'll bring it forward and advise, sure.
It would be nice to have a little, some kind of brief annual report or some kind of report like that to take with us.
yes. Yeah, I agree with that. What do you think about that, Jill? Because I know that was following you.
I've got it down to 4 pages.
So in the past, I remember Bob Bailey did one.
Yes.
Richard, did you do one?
Well, Bob put together the
initial one?
descriptions of all the topics that we addressed,
Okay.
and then I packaged it into a larger.
I feel like just like the
Good.
mission statement
I'm
and
saying, I
our
got 4
topics,
pages.
yeah, because they really are not gonna read, and you want just like one page takeaway. I like the idea of having like, look at all of our accomplishments, but that's more of a document for Rancho and Citrus Heights, like what are you gonna get out of this? And that's like more in depth, but for elected officials, like even staff, like I don't want a big thing on my desk of lots of words.
Christine, do you want to take the ball with that and have
I
some people
will
help you?
I'll put this in a little packet, but no, yeah, I will, and then I can, you can start trying to
Yeah.
schedule meetings. My favorite thing in the world is to coordinate schedules.
You know what? I actually work closely with the chiefs of staff and the scheduler. So just send me what you want to do and we'll work on that. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, Christine, go ahead and put together, do I have to make a motion on that?
No, I
No,
don't.
because it's just a project, right?
It's just a project.
Yeah, we'll have to vote on it once it's done.
You can
right?
approve it with a
Once it's
vote
done,
later.
yeah. So Christine, go ahead and work on it and bring it forth to the committee. You can send it out ahead of next month's thing, so we can look at it. We just can't comment.
Yeah.
As an email to everyone back and forth. We'll just have to comment at the meeting, the public forum. I think it's a great idea. I really do. I think it's a great idea. Okay, I think we have shook up a little of 2024, which I think is good. And moving on, we have Sacramento County Sustainability Update from John Lundgren, Sustainability Manager. Is he there?
Hi, good evening, everybody.
There you go.
Hi. So I know we have a new member, so I'm John Lundgren, County Sustainability Manager. I work out of the County Executive's Office. The board's not specifically, but when they did their climate emergency declaration in 2020, that was one of the things that was the genesis for my position. So I just coordinate overall sustainability at the county exec level and also run the Climate Emergency Mobilization Task Force, whose primary charge is to assist us in coming up with a climate emergency response plan. I don't have a lot to update you on this week, so I'll try to give you some time back. I've been spending my time finishing that dashboard I've been teasing you about that I said should have been public already. We are very close. The chiefs of staff, I briefed them the week before last, and I wanted to give them about a week to go over the dashboard with the electeds before we go public. But my instructions to them were please do that last week, and I wanted to go public with the dashboard this month. So we're very close. Have been spending a lot of time in coordination with the Air District, Sacramento Air District. They're leading the CPRG, Climate Pollution Reduction Grants, coming out of the US EPA. And I've been running the carbon farming working group to help put together a regional application on the phase 2 implementation grants there, hopefully pulling together some sort of a regional carbon farming one-stop shop. And that's, of course, if the grant is accepted. And then the other big thing I've been looking into is the CEC, California Energy Commission, has come out with a fairly large grant for electric vehicle chargers for fleets. I wrote a letter to them about 2 years ago to say, please put some grants out there for behind the gate charging. We're doing okay on getting public chargers, but we need some chargers behind the gate where we can charge our fleets overnight and do them on a nice slow trickle where we don't have to have the big, huge extension cords, I don't mean extension cords, but just so much power coming in. We can charge a lot more vehicles and we can put them on the level 2 or even level 1 charger overnight. And so they have a grant out right now. It's for a minimum of 100 handles. So a minimum of 100 charging handles. We're looking at that. There's some challenges with it, but I've been coordinating across the county with fleet services and some of our other departments to see if we want to take a run at going after that grant. It's not as easy as it sounds because, of course, we have to have power to those places where we'd like to charge those vehicles. And as you've heard many times, getting power into a site to charge those vehicles can be a challenge because they take a tremendous amount of power. Even my little putt-putt Nissan Leaf, it's got a 20 kilowatt battery. That's very small. That takes me 65 miles on the freeway. That 20 kilowatts is what my house uses on a summer day with the air conditioning. So 20 kilowatts to run my house all day, or 20 kilowatts to take my car 65 miles. So you can imagine charging up 50 county cars at a courtyard overnight. That's a lot of power that we probably don't even have the transformer at the SMUD interconnect to do that. And so that's the hard part about getting the grants, but I wanted to give you a little kind of inside baseball, what I've been working on. That's my update this month. Thank you.
No, thanks, John. Does anybody have any questions for John? Yes, Christine?
Is this the charging infrastructure for government fleets?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Any other
Of course,
questions?
the only question I have is, you mentioned, John, you brought up power. Are you doing any partnering with SMUD for solar panels over parking lots or whatever?
Yes, we're partnering with SMUD. It's on things bigger than solar panels. We've partnered with SMUD and they've done an entire study of the Bradshaw Branch Center campus and what's available where. And so we already have a study that tells us where the low hanging fruit is to put in a few level 2 chargers here and there. As far as solar panels, there's been a couple pilots, a few out on Power Inn Road where the family court is out there at Granite Park. We lease that space. There's no power in the parking lot for us to charge our fleet vehicles. So General Services actually installed 2 portable solar chargers. They're like a little mini carport that has solar panels on top and a battery, and that charges a few of our cars. But there's no big partnering with SMUD to do solar panels yet. One of the reasons is because the county's always changing, and what is a parking lot today likely isn't a parking lot in 10 years, right? And so that's been one of the difficulties. I too want to see more solar panels, and I've been working with our general services on that to kind of change the thinking away from, that it's got to pay for itself. I think we're kind of beyond like where it no longer has to pay for itself. We have to be fiscally responsible, but there's the cost of not doing anything about climate change. I don't need to say anything more. We're talking about Dr. Kassirier. We know all the health impacts of climate change. And so those are the hidden costs that I'm trying to change the thinking when we see how much solar panels cost. And so the amount of power, we could cover a parking lot and solar panels, and that might charge some automobiles. It's never going to charge up our heavy fleet vehicles. That is just a tremendous amount of power needed. I'm not being a naysayer because I am all in on trying to get our fleet electric, but it is very true that the size fire hose we need coming in to bring those electrons is pretty big. And so we all have to get in line. There's the transformers are in high demand.
You mentioned solar because that's the supply end. And you know, you're working on the demand end and you say, okay, I got all this demand, but I don't have any supply. So. But you're working, it sounds like you're working on that.
Yes, and
solar is going to be other things too.
Yeah, and just the solar is powerful as it is. It's, you know, it. Yeah.
John, I understand that the county purchased two electric garbage trucks, or was going to purchase them. Any experience with that? Recharging?
To my knowledge, we do not have any electric automatic side loading garbage trucks. The county does have an electric cart delivery truck. So I think it's a class 6. So it's not a big rig. It's a large box van that is all electric. And that's what they deliver the replacement garbage carts with. But they don't yet have any automatic side loaders that are electric. We did, Mack Truck brought out a prototype that we did a media day and took a test drive and watched it work on the route. But I don't know that we've bought any vehicle like that yet. But it was about 6, maybe even 9 months ago. We did do a prototype run. And what we learned from that, it's not as much, it can't do a full route all day yet, right? The battery's just not quite that big. But that wasn't the limitation. It was the integration of the hydraulic arm with the chassis. It was very jerky, and I felt so bad for the operator because they were dumping garbage cans and dropping stuff all over the street with these county dignitaries out watching them run the route. And so we're close, guys. It's, I'm always careful to say, because I don't like it when the old time fleet guys are like, oh, that won't work. It's really close. There were some hiccups, but it is very close to where we'll have some electric garbage trucks.
The reason I was asking is that you mentioned the charging infrastructure, and a garbage truck to recharge that overnight might take a little power.
It takes just a little bit, yeah. If you ever want for information on that, Jill, I can help you get in touch with our fleet manager. He's done a great presentation to the Climate Emergency Mobilization Task Force that has some examples of how much power we're talking about to charge fleets. And it is, his graphic has multiple Empire State Buildings is what it takes.
Oh, wow.
Any other questions for John?
Yeah, John, is there anything, an update on the climate action plan comments due by the end of the month?
No, they're still due at the end of the month. The planning department did hold a public scoping meeting. And I would just remind everyone that these are not comments. These are, they are comments, but they're not comments on the adequacy of an environmental impact report like you're used to doing. These are comments on what the scope of the analysis of the environmental impact report should be. And, everyone's welcome to be engaged, but I would have to say, if working on that for 10 years, and you can bet your bottom dollar, we've had a lot of attorneys look it over, being that we're staring down the guns of, 350, Sacramento and Sierra Club have been very clear they intend to sue us. I think we're pretty well informed on what the scope of analysis needs to be. But if you spend a lot of time writing a comment letter on an EIR scope, but instead you're talking to, well, we think the cap's a bad cap, or we think the county should do X, Y, and Z, you're not helping, you're just actually causing, you talked about EPP, you're causing the county to have to print more paper to publish your letters, because that's not what the comments are. Should be on the scope of the analysis. When I talk about, development project, it's, I tell neighbors, we don't need to know, don't tell us to look at traffic. Tell us that intel that we don't know, like when you look at traffic, county, did you know that the old folks home and the school both do activities at 3 o'clock? in PM in the afternoon and there's an unprotected crosswalk 1 block from your project site. That's like that. Those are the type of scoping comments that are really handy because they really help us drill down the scope of the analysis. So this is not, the comment period's not about reading an EIR and seeing how the county did. It's about telling the county what the scope of analysis of that EIR should be.
Anything else? Thank you, John, once again, for joining in and giving us an update.
Absolutely. Thank you for giving me the time.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. Agenda item number 8 is we need to go back to the draft minutes of our October meeting and review and get them approved. We didn't have a quorum last time on that. So are there any corrections need to be submitted for the October minutes?
Move for approval again.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, Jill, take roll, please.
Richard Hunn.
Aye.
Mark White,
Aye.
Eric Rivera Montez,
Aye.
Laura Nickerson,
Aye.
Tom Mulson,
Aye.
Anthony DeRicci,
Aye.
Stephanie Holsted,
Aye.
Christine Casey,
Aye.
Jacqueline Todick.
Aye.
Jill, take my eye off and put an abstain because I was not at the meeting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, but I also have to abstain.
Okay. You don't have to,
Okay,
but you can choose to.
okay. Well, if I wasn't here.
You have
Okay.
to abstain for minutes.
So so you would like to abstain? I heard another one.
Not me. I was
Okay.
part of it.
Richard.
Besides, yeah,
That's why I didn't pass the last time. if I remember right.
Yeah, I changed my vote.
you,
She
Steph,
said aye. I said aye.
okay.
I heard you. I was like, yes.
The motion passes.
So did they pass?
Yes.
All right. So now we need to approve the draft minutes of the October 27th meeting. Are there any corrections that need to be submitted? If not, may I have a motion?
I move approved.
May I have a second?
I'll second.
Take roll, please.
Richard Hunn,
Aye.
Mark White,
Aye.
Eric Rivera Montez,
I abstain.
Laura Nickerson,
Aye.
Tom Mulson,
Aye.
Anthony DeRicci,
Aye.
Stephanie Holsted,
Aye.
Christine Casey,
Aye.
Jacqueline Todick.
Oh, abstain again.
Okay, motion passes.
Very good. All right, that's taken care of. Okay, next up, we have the EMD Director's Report, Janaea. I think we have her right up on the screen as we used to. Welcome, Janaea.
It looks like
Good evening. Everybody can hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. So my name is Janaea Monasterio and welcome, new commissioner. I am the director for the Environmental Management Department. I've been in this position for about 2 years and I've been an environmental specialist for about 15. So really excited to have a full commission and provide an update. So last time, I believe it was the last meeting, we gave an update on our fee amendment. And so on January 9th, EMD went to the Board of Supervisors. We presented the information to the board that we would be increasing fees for 6 programs in addition to adding an annual inflator and also increasing our hourly rate. The board was very supportive of the direction to do that. And then also with the adding that annual inflator. So they didn't have any questions and that we were able to move that right along. So thank you to the SEC for providing us a letter of support. We really appreciated that. And it was very impactful to the board to see that you all supported our decision to move forward with this amendment. What's going on at EMD? It's 2024, so we're starting the year kind of similar to this meeting, figuring out what the next year will hold, things that we're planning on doing. So there's a lot of planning going on and making work plans and looking at things that we need to be doing in the next year coming up. So we anticipate regulations will likely change. There'll be updates. And we're pretty much ready for it. So we're in the planning phase right now and just working on what we'll be doing in this year coming up and getting ready for a very busy year as things are picking up in terms of events and other types of food types of get-togethers, and more of that is happening, fairs, etc. So we know that we are looking at a very busy year. So yeah, any questions from the commissioners? I'd be happy to answer them.
Doesn't appear to, Janaea.
I have a comment.
Oh, we have a comment. from
Certainly
Mark.
happy
I love
you-
comments and questions.
Certainly happy you got the annual inflator. Big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it will really, it's, you know, due to COVID, we really weren't able to do the increases in 2021 and really trying to be sensitive to businesses. And as they're recovering, it seemed like a good move to move this forward so that we can fully cost recover and that businesses are doing much better. And that's really where we want to be, to see businesses doing better.
Right. Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us and have a good evening. Okay, agenda number 11, we have any commissioners monitoring of environmental issues and agencies. If there's any reports any of the commissioners would like to present from their agencies.
I kind of hinted at mine.
Go ahead, Mark.
I don't know if it's still current. Christine probably does. But the Air Resources Board was looking at requiring conversion of all diesel vehicles, heavy duty vehicles, to electric, I think by 2040 or something like that.
Yeah.
Based on the conversation with regard to providing power to those, I mean, you've got a lot of trucking yards. I know we have several garbage collection truck yards. Are you guys talking to anybody about that?
Honestly, you're referring to SMUD.
Yeah, sorry, not you personally.
I know that we're also dealing with those challenges ourselves, and the price is going to be an issue. I mean, so that's going to be a challenge. And understanding that delivering power, establishing the infrastructure is also going to be a challenge. So,
So take a deep breath.
across the board, it's going to be a challenge, and that's a little bit interesting.
So Christine, is that going forward? Do you know?
Yeah, that's the regulation Advanced Clean Fleets was passed at the end of last year, and starting January 1st of this year, some of the purchase requirements kick in. And that also is paired with a Advanced Clean Trucks regulation, which is on the manufacturer side to get them to produce the vehicles so they're available. But as you pointed out, and as John pointed out, yeah, the power demand is huge. And so it's a lot of planning and a lot of, you know, more from the energy side, like utility upgrades, and not, there's a lot of delays in the supply chain with transformers, and everyone's wanting to do this all at once. But it is also a transition. Like, not everyone is going to electrify at once. So there's probably going to be a lot of early growing pains. That's it.
When do they want it done by?
2036, but there's some that due to useful life of the vehicle, there'll be some vehicles that are still driving around. And there's a lot of exemptions, like certain emergency vehicles that are still going to be internal combustion engines. So that the regulation focuses on 3 types of fleets: drayage, which are like the ones that operate at ports; high priority fleets, which are like 50 or more trucks; and then local government, which is why, you know, Sacramento County is focusing on electrifying their fleet.
So one reason I brought this up is maybe for one of our meetings for which we don't have a speaker yet, we could give somebody from the county's transportation, like John was talking about, the guy that had the presentation, because he's going to have his.
June, I think.
Have we ever had a presentation?
Yeah, I was going to ask that it wasn't on the news, but if you can have somebody
2030 plan.
from SMUD.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Maybe not the 2030 plan, well, that too, but.
So it'd be interesting to have the supply and the demand.
Some impact studies. That'll have to be done.
Well, you have.
Add that to some date.
Your 2030 plan is for you to be zero.
Oh, yeah.
And so this might skew that a bit. Well, that's your speakers thing, yeah. I think it's gonna be a good meeting if we can.
We're still aiming.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting subject, because you could have you could have two speakers, supply and demand. You know, here's what we're being required to do now, where are we gonna get it?
And the issue of the freezing, you guys saw those news reports, the freezing weather, and then they couldn't charge.
The batteries don't work,
and
like this, so what are they gonna do tomorrow?
Have we ever had a speaker about nuclear power plants?
Oh, man.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think we have any news.
Not nuclear power, but.
Don't we have one?
No, I mean, but have we ever had a speaker on nuclear power?
Not that I remember.
Small.
We don't have any ideas.
Oh, is that the big ones that,
Huh.
By
Yeah, but
Jackson.
you still got nuclear stored out there in Rancho Seco, don't you?
Yeah, there's still some, yeah, there's, but just.
Yeah, there's federal, they'll be there forever.
Yeah, essentially, there's no plan.
And then we had the nuclear issue at McClellan. Yeah, we had the dome out there. We actually had a field trip out there to see.
You guys should ask for a trip out to Rancho. It's kind of neat. But they'll talk to you about what's going on in that space. There's a lot of interesting developments in nuclear, but it's still very much hypothetical.
Yeah, it takes a long time to develop.
Longer than our lifetimes.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of similar to that. I know that my company just won a contract for program management for a green hydrogen program that the state's trying to kick off. It's going to be a PPP, I believe, but it's going to be headquartered out of Sacramento. Public-private partnership.
Oh.
What is their definition of green?
I think that's it.
I don't know. I mean, it was just awarded to us like a few weeks ago, so I don't really know that, or maybe in just.
Well, you would think, but that's not always.
So, yeah, there's a fuel cell thing in West Sac, isn't there?
Yes, this is
Totally different.
yeah.
Never even
So
heard
that there, I think it is establishing what we are doing is program management for establishing the infrastructure statewide.
Sounds like conversion to battery powered garbage trucks.
Yeah, I would just add carbon sequestration. I don't know if anybody's.
But hydrogen?
Yeah, green hydrogen.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. That's the stuff that goes up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Hindenburg, you know?
Yeah.
And when people say not in my neighborhood, I could tend to agree with them on that one.
My son as an engineer works with carbon sequestration. They're making modules to try to do 90% carbon capture. Yeah.
I think Calpine Center's going down that road. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Even if
He's
it's
like
liquid, it would leak.
Technical membrane research or something.
Take a guess.
It's like a forest, it's a big provider.
Oh, yeah, they burn green, wood waste.
Yeah, so, but they're trying to implement.
Okay, moving along to community focus. Is there anybody else that has stuff they'd like to report on in environmental issues? No, we're good? Okay. So number 12, we still need people to do the volunteer awards subcommittee. I know that's a tough subcommittee. We talked about it last time. It's a lot of work. I know, Eric, you weren't here last time, but nobody raised their hands.
So we volunteered.
So, yeah, so we were saying, well, Eric, you're the chair. But, you know, I will be on it because I think it's really
Do you have
important.
anything to say, Eric?
So actually, this is my second to last meeting. I'm stepping down.
Oh, dang it.
Family's getting busier. So,
Okay, well, you've been here the whole time I've been here. You've been here a long
It's been a
time.
while, 10 years, I think.
Yeah, very
So,
good.
You know,
Wow.
you do realize you need to recruit somebody else from your jurisdiction.
No, that we are, who else are we next month?
Restrictive.
So your last meeting is February?
Yes,
Okay.
sorry, so that's why I've been pretty quiet.
All this just to get out of the volunteering.
I know.
I'll tell you what.
Well, thank you, been great.
No, thank you. Thank you.
He has one more
It's been- Yeah, I've got one more.
One more. Nice.
10 years, it's rookie.
I know, maybe I'm, maybe
Yeah.
someday when things settle down.
Yeah, no, I understand. I
Kids grow up.
certainly think 10 years is a good stint. So,
I was told last month that I have to volunteer again.
okay, I will help,
The
I will be on the
institutional
committee with
law is
you.
Going up to 1 year.
I'll do it. Because I did it a couple years ago with Eric and I forget who else, Richard, I'm not sure, but it was a lot of fun. It is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
And I feel like maybe last year was a little more work because it had been a few years
Right.
since we had done
Yes.
it. So I feel like best practices, learning lessons from last year and it'll.
You guys did such a good job.
Yeah, we changed the date and everything. It used to be around Earth Day.
We talked about that on our planning topic
Yeah.
subcommittee thing, if we should move it like 1 month every year till we.
That's why I put it in September. Our plan's not working.
I like October just because it gives us all year to work on it.
I know, and that's what we said.
Yeah.
Like, and it would be, too drastic of a switch to go back
Yeah.
to Earth Day.
It just seems like it hits so fast once the new year start. Oh my God, we have the awards. So in April, so we have Christine, Laura, Stephanie. Jacqueline, would you like to be part of that? Because it's a lot of fun. And we could learn, and it's basically we go out and try to find people to submit an award application. Then once we get all the award applications in for environmental, projects that they did, we rate them, we pick them, and they get awarded. And they get awarded at our October meeting. It's very fancy. They get little special trophies, and it's a big deal. And it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm happy to help with that.
The most work is finding people to submit the applications. Is getting, just going out and scouring and asking people to submit.
Yeah.
Even though it only requires them to sign something, basically.
It's a one-page
So
application.
easy,
It's
yeah,
really
it's
not.
not easy. The barrier to entry is not great, but it
Yeah.
was surprisingly hard to get folks until the end, which everyone does, waits till the deadline.
Yeah.
But
But you gotta tell them it's an easy application. It's one page with supporting documents, right? I mean, that hasn't changed. So it's not difficult. The people at the October meeting, some of them were crying and they were just so, honored. The one guy came from the hospital to come get, he had just gotten hit by a car. I think.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's the hardest event.
And he comes in.
He was still wearing.
He had his neck thing on and he's hobbling in. Yes.
Yep.
So we got up there with pictures and, and he's crying and I'm like, oh my goodness. So it is a really big deal because people work so hard for the environment and we can at least as an official body in a very official place that the board, looks very official and they just get recognized for all their hard work. So it's really nice. So anyway.
But to add to that, you
Yes.
guys had a slate of awardees last time that we'd never had anything like in the past. These were more people-based awards
Nice.
instead of company-based awards.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal for those people.
It was.
Nobody ever recognized
The one thing that we didn't have, that I think we had a lot past was youth.
I got it on my list for this year.
them.
Yeah,
Yes.
I noted because you did mention something about
Yep.
that, so.
Yeah,
We want to do that.
yeah, so it was the first one we had made sure we had a couple of, I think it was sixth grade class.
But I think we got a better prize when we helped sponsor their triple air monitor.
Okay, good. So we have a committee that we can still add one more person if you're burning of Christine, Laura, Stephanie, and Jacqueline to work on the October awards.
And Jill.
Oh, and Jill's always in everything. Bless her heart, what we do without Jill.
If you absolutely need one more, I can volunteer, but
Mark,
Oh, there you go.
down.
that's really stupid. One, two.
Okay, we got Mark on it.
So regarding the EPP group, the three of us, we're okay to send emails to each
Yes,
other?
yes.
This was three.
Yeah.
As soon as you have enough time to talk.
Yeah, just get-
Is there an issue with the Brown Act?
You can meet over coffee, whatever you guys want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, we have one more agenda item, which is additional commissioner comments, and Richard has.
Yeah, I wanted
Is that
to
here?
follow up on the comments we submitted on the Delta Tunnels Project, DIR, back in 2022. And just last December, they published the final EIR where they responded to our comments. So I just wanted to run by what the response was. So Janae, could you bring up the file for comments and responses? Did you get that copy? And no, that's not it. It's labeled SEC comments and response. is the
There we
file. Okay,
There it
scroll
is.
down to the colored section there. I highlighted the gist of what I wanted to point out here is that our comment primarily stated was EIR failed to characterize the risk of discharging chemical conditioners that are used to transport tunnel material during project construction.
I remember that, yeah.
Specifically, did not provide information on storing, using, or treating it. What are the risks to the environment? What are the impacts to aquatic resources? Well, on the orange section is their response to it. Basically, as they said, risks to the environment from using soil conditioners are not anticipated. So they're basically just rejecting our
Blowing us off.
comment altogether.
Yeah.
We went on, in our comment letter, we went on and provided at least a dozen references documenting the issue of using surfactants and the impact on aquatic resources. And they're basically saying, no, that's not an issue. And they refer back to a previous document in 2014 by a company called URS, who addressed the effect of these tunnel materials. And Jill, if you, Janae, if you could bring up the URS file, we'll make this close and scroll down to the colored section down there. There it is. Basically, this document they're relying as being the basis for the conclusion that there's no effect. Well, this paragraph basically contradicts that and says the effects on wildlife and plants of conditioned soils may not have been fully assessed, or there's creating an uncertainty for potential adverse effects. And so this is very contrary to the position of the DWR itself. This is the document they're relying on. Where does that do for us? I don't know, because this is basically they finalized the EIR. We reached out to the county and said, are you folks interested in pursuing this any further, either in a challenge, a legal challenge? We have not heard back. So I guess the question that's being posed to us at some point is, if the county elects to move forward, are we prepared to support them in this issue? Or if they don't decide to move forward, then basically we have nothing left to say in this process.
What do you recommend?
I recommend we hopefully that the county will move forward, and we can support them in that if they want us to.
Okay.
Move forward in challenging the
EIR. This is a minor issue. I don't think it's going to be an issue that stops the project, but it does require additional mitigation, which they have not. They've refused to commit to at this point.
So Richard, do you expect that, you mentioned this research was done in what, 2014?
Yeah.
There might have been more current research that actually gets to the problem more.
Well, this document addresses specifically the reusable tunnel materials and how can you use it for road base, levees, and things like that. So it's looking at the geotechnical aspects of it. But they do say here regarding the impacts on wildlife and aquatic forms, they don't know. And yet the DWR is saying, well, this is the basis of our conclusion.
That's okay.
And that's okay. Right. But I guess if there was a way to find out whether some research has been done on more specifically on the actual effects on.
Well, that's where the documents that we provided them in our comment letter did, because we gave them a list of maybe a dozen citations that said this stuff is really bad on aquatic.
So you've already done their homework.
Yes.
That doesn't seem right.
Now we're paying.
You know, I mean, and even just the idea that because we don't know means we can go ahead. You know, that's
Or
just so
just
wrong.
flat out deny it.
Yeah.
So there's no impact.
They don't know, so therefore it's okay.
Potentially what will happen is the environmental lawyers from various groups will come out and sue over and stop the project. And it'll be a dead stop until the courts and the lawyers figure it out. And that's the risk you take. And I mean, I can give you an example where we automatically gave the project an extra year to sort this stuff out just because of the potential litigation that would stop the project for 20 years.
The project has been sued by, I think, Sierra Club and Delta Keeper. Solano County has expressed that they're going to challenge the EIR, but they have not taken any action yet. Sacramento County has not given us any indication of what they're going to do.
I see.
Is there a date by which they need to give?
That I don't know.
I think it was a 30-day litigation that closed yesterday.
I'm sorry?
I think it was a 30-day litigation window that closed yesterday because it was certified on the 21st of December.
So it closed yesterday.
I think so.
What was Solano County's objection?
I think it's deficiencies of the document.
No, so their concern is they are planning to put a new intake in downstream of the proposed intakes for the project. And so, yeah, so they just don't support it on that, right? Because they want to divert their own water. So there's no traffic. So I'm the deputy PM on the engineering contract for the program. And they have consulted with DWR several times on behalf of the project. And one of their big concerns was traffic. So all of the traffic has been routed so that there will be no truck trips in Solano County. But the other one is related to this intake. It's gonna be I don't know, 17-mile long, like a pretty big, hundreds of millions of dollar project that would be downstream on the other side of the river.
So anyway, I guess hopefully we'll get a response back from the county saying what they want to do and respond to however they want to proceed.
Right. Right, well, it's good you had to make them respond.
Well, they have to.
Yeah, but I mean, that's good. They had to at least lie on the paper. So-
And that gives environmental lawyers more ammunition.
Yeah, oh goodness. All right, so in closing tonight, I just want to remind everybody of the little assignments we have here. All of us are going to add edits and send to Jill regarding the mission and the vision of the commission. Christine is to format a one-page info on the FCC for like political, good politicians. Stephanie, Tony, and Richard are going to work on the single-use plastic thing that may potentially add to the county EPP. I want to know who's going to be the lead on that. Stephanie?
Sure.
Okay. And then Laura and Jill will work on a letter to potentially send to the cities not represented. And then there was one more. Oh, the awards committee. Christine, will you be the lead on that?
Oh, darn, I thought Eric was gonna be. Wow. Sure.
Work fast, maybe we get it.
We tried.
I just like to, I just like to call it a lead for a report.
Really tried last time.
Okay, if there's no other business, the meeting is adjourned and we will meet again on February 26th, 6 p.m. right here. Meeting adjourned.